Michael, you may not know this, but Carrie was actually married to two people, to me and to you. And I should add, I think many of you feel that Carrie was married to you too. I learned that in reading the memory book from all of her friends and her family, that everybody said the same thing. You were the sister that I chose to have. You were welcoming, you were loving. I couldn't imagine my life without you. I'm so blessed to have you, and on and on and on and on. Two whole books full of all of your words and your love, feeling the way I feel and that my husband Jeff feels about our Carrie. And we all have a hole in our heart. I've heard that the level of pain we feel after losing someone is commensurate with the magnitude of our love. And we are all in so much pain because of our great love for our dear Carrie. Whether Carrie is playing mahjong, being with her dolly group, making dollies to donate, doing fundraising for, well, too many organizations to count, Birthright, Stop Cancer, the Boulder Parent Fund, Federation, whether she's traveling with her family and her friends to Spain, all around the world, Hawaii, Vail, Aspen, walking on the beach, hiking, fly fishing, preparing food for friends and family, hosting the family for Jewish holidays at her home, making special birthday cakes for her kids. Carrie is a force to be reckoned with. In her short 60 years, she has done more, enjoyed more, traveled more, fundraised more, definitely fundraised more, than most people do in a long, full life. Carrie was an absolutely amazing friend to me and to so many of us here. She always went above and beyond. And talking with Carrie was like talking with an open soul, an open heart. Whether we were talking about sex, yes, I know a lot, Michael. Or talking about her kids, I know a lot. We all heard the truth. That's what came from Carrie, right? The genuine truth. She also had a wisdom way beyond her years. When Carrie and I met about 25 years ago, and about a few years later, my grandmother died. And Carrie just knew what to do. I don't think I would have known what to do if this had happened to Carrie, but she knew what to do. And she asked me, when is the funeral? And she was at that funeral. When I moved up to Northern California and I had to work really late the night before, and I called her, and we chatted, and she wanted to know, am I packed? What's going on? And I told her I'm stuck working on this big litigation matter, and most of it's packed, but not all of it. Carrie rushed over to my house and packed up all my last-minute stuff. Who would do that? When my son Ryan, performed at it was 11 o'clock at night, and it was all the way out in Glendale area. And he was performing, and Carrie said, we've got to go see him. And I'm thinking, that's way past our bedtime. And she schlepped with me to go and see him. Our daughter Paige had a tournament in Los Angeles, and we were living in Northern California. And she called and she says, so you're going to her tournament, right? And I said, no, I'm not flying to her tournament. And Carrie says, well, I'm going. Give me the directions. And she did. She played substitute mom and cheered her on, even though our daughter spent the whole time on the bench. You were my buddy, Carrie, in every sense of the word. You were always game for anything and everything. When Bob Brinker, I don't know if any of you've listened to Bob Brinker on the radio, and Carrie turned me on to him and says, you've got to listen to this investment guy. And so we were always talking about Bob Brinker and what he said and whether to get in the stock market and what. And she called me and she says, okay, Bob Brinker says, put everything you have into the market now. Put everything you have. This market is going to go crazy. We did. We lost tens of thousands of dollars.
Thanks, Carrie.
I had a hairdresser that my mother and I used to like to go to in New York, and he called and he said that he would come out to California if we could only get a few women that wanted their hair done. So I called Carrie. Carrie, we've got a hairdresser from New York who's willing to come out and do our hair. She's game. She came down to my parents' house in Newport, and there we were sitting out on the bay with foils in our hair, the kids running around, and you'll see a photo of Rachel at the time was probably around 1.5 or 2 with the hose hosing down my child who was also 2 and making him cry, and there we were sitting with foils in our hair, and that was your mom. She was game for everything and anything. And she even came to my mom's charity events, and she always made a donation. Carrie, you've been the best travel agent, always looking out for deals. I would be driving in my car, and she would call me and say, okay, the Ritz in Vail is having a half-price sale. We got to book it now. And I'd say, okay, here's my credit card, you book it for us, and she did. She booked it, she made sure she had the reservations at all of the restaurants, she made sure that the concierge stocked our fridge so we had plenty of food. Carrie, you always give so generously, buying me gifts for no reasons at all. I don't think I own a pair of earrings that she hasn't given me. Hint. I love you so dearly, Carrie, and I deeply feel the pain of losing you. A few words to the precious legacy that Carrie has left. To Zach, to Shauna, to Rachel. Your mom loves you so much, and she continues to watch over you. What a deep, rich, beautiful legacy she has left. She's a go-getter, so smart, so capable. And our sages teach that during life, one's soul is integrated with the body. The self, the soul, and its physical vehicle, the body, are combined into a single entity. Death is a dissolution of the body and soul into 2 separate entities, a separation of the spiritual self from the body. And the body inevitably will fail and disintegrate, but the soul is eternal, indestructible. The time in which the soul resides within and acts through the body is just one phase. The soul lives on after our body dies. Carrie's soul, your mom's soul, continues to be aware of all that transpires in our lives and continues to be the recipient of our love and the positive actions we do on her behalf. She will watch as you find a career you love, close friends around you to enrich your life, to watch you having fun, enjoying adventures, enjoying travel. She felt your care and love, especially in the last few days. Zach sleeping in her room and staying up all night to make sure the oxygen machine was working properly and that she was comfortable. Rachel updating the caring bridge and lying down with her and making her a beautiful, warm, cuddly blanket. Shauna making delicious meals to the taco bar that she so wanted and being so attentive. In your own unique way, you gave your mom such comfort. You were there for her completely. So just remember, your mom's soul continues to be aware of all that goes on in your lives and all of our lives. Her body has left us, but her soul lives on. And if I could ask the kids to just take a peek around, just stand up and take a look around at all of the people here, the village, your community. We all want to share all the great things in store for you. Michael, you've been a husband that it's absolutely, positively indescribable. Your love, your commitment, what you made happen to get her home, to make her comfortable, dealing with her medicine, whether it was dressing her, bathing her, loving her, caring for her. It was the most beautiful, beautiful love I could ever imagine any woman having. You really made her life complete. Carrie, we miss you, and may we all live our lives as a tribute to Carrie's amazing life.